Well, good morning, everybody. Sorry it took me so long to get on here. It's been it's been a rough week for my allergies, which this guy, Mr. Boots and Bounty, we were talking about last night on his live stream. What's up, Scout? So there's a lot of comments and good morning. I see we got a bunch of people in the house. I said good morning to some people in the chat already, but we'll just uh, we'll just get started this morning. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Um, I'm real thankful that so many people are in here and saying hi to one another. I didn't say hi to this guy yet. Good morning, Scott. Glad that you're here. MB Heritage Farms. Good morning. Glad that you're here. Beth D. Good morning. Let's see. There's a lot of people I already said good morning to in the chat. So um, yeah, just like Julie said, rise and shine. Yeah, I'm just gonna say big hello. I'm not quick enough to get everybody that's already commented. So thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate it. Rustic, good morning. Glad you're here. Um, well, uh, hey, there's Glenn and Jessica. Good morning. And we're just waking up. So I, be honest, I just woke up not that long ago. I'm gonna try to keep the shadow over my eyes because they are just angry looking this morning. It's been bad. I've been rubbing my eyes a whole bunch, and I'm gonna try to get some of that tinctures from Boots and Bounty Homestead. They uh, they got some Mullen tinctures and some goldenrod tinctures. I guess that worked really well for their allergies. So um, I'll give that a shot. I gotta say thanks to my buddy Dub, who's in our community group. He left me some Nasacort. I think that's what it's called. Last night after our small group, he uh, he went to the drugstore and got me some Nasacort for me to try. I think it worked a little bit. Dub, if you're on here, I don't know if you are or not, but appreciate appreciate you, brother. I really it was a kind gesture, and it does seem better this morning a little bit. So let's see here. Yeah, thanks, Rustic. I appreciate it, brother. Um, I gotta get out there and go fishing. Um, my 12-year-old son, he's been really really anxious to go fishing, and we gotta get out there in the kayak, both of us, and try to go bass fishing. I don't know when the bass are spawning around here, but I'm sure it's probably sometime pretty soon. One of my good friends from the pedal ministry. By the way, pedal ministry, we got approved by the IRS to be a 501(c)(3). So if you guys have any need for charitable donations and you don't know where to send them, I've got somewhere that you can send them now. And approved by the IRS to be a tax deductible donation. So Beth D says, I waited 2 weeks for my canner on the floor till I got the nerve. Uh, watch Homestead Heart, she's fab at canning. You know, we really need to get into canning some more. I'm going to be doing some pickled eggs, so stay tuned for that video. That's something that I've heard are really good, and I haven't had them before. So let me know in a comment below if you can or pickle eggs rather. So I'm half asleep, man. I just woke up and I said, "Oh man, I've got just a couple minutes." So I started a live stream, and that's when I said, "Hey, well, we'll be going live in just a few minutes, everybody." Hey, Rustic, I appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, hit that hit that thumbs up. That really does help us out. Speaking of what helps us out, we are at just about exactly 3,700 hours for the year. So we could use another 300 watch hours for the year, everybody. If you would watch our videos, we got some long playlists. So um, go ahead, let them run, and yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I saw that DM come through, Steven. I haven't clicked on it yet, but I saw it come through, and I think you said I just saw the beginning of it, on my notifications, but it said you'd have them up today. I think you have those tinctures up today. So yeah, I need to get on it for sure. Um, yeah, here's some good canning channels. I know about Rebel Canners for sure. We love Homestead Hearts canning videos. Canners has some pretty good how-tos as well. Yep, Presto 23 quart. Yeah, it's one of those things that we're trying so many new things that, canning is kind of intimidating for us to start out, but I know it's not that hard. But yeah, these are types of things that we'll probably end up wanting to do once we start canning is making jams and all kinds of different things. Um, uh, Julie, I saw your comment above about having, red rabbit eyes. Yeah, that's how mine are. They're, look like, Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. Hey, Nick, hope you're doing amazing this morning. Snowing here again. Yeah, you know what? I saw that, Matt from Grafted Branch. I don't know if he's gonna be in here, but he's in, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it looked like they got a good amount of snow just, for kinda I guess we're almost to the end of March, and, I couldn't believe that they got that much over in New Mexico. I mean, in Canada, I kind of expect it to snow a little bit until, I don't know, what, June maybe? Up in the mountains? But, New Mexico, I didn't think so. I've pickled eggs recently, they're great. Really miss eggs. Yeah, so, I was talking to Sherry at Black's Tropical Homestead, about on her live about the, quail that they got, and they're just a few days ahead of us, I think, on, their quail in the incubator, and, let's see, ours should hatch out the 1st week in April, so we're pretty close to having our own quail, so we're really excited, and then pickling quail eggs, those seem to me like they'd be better than chicken eggs just because the size would be either easier to just kinda, eat them out of the jar, so okay, it's ready now. Alright, well, after this live stream, Steven, I'm gonna have to purchase some. I was telling Danielle about it last night. Yeah, I need to get these tinctures from Boots& and Bounty. Alright. So, my Renaissance grandma is using the EZ command to get Nightbot to drop her channel link. So, if you guys all wanna do that, it's a great way to have others connect to you, and, if you see anybody who has posted up, or a AZ command like this, and they get Nightbot to drop their channel link, go check them out real quick, and, I'm gonna rub my eye for a second here because it is super itchy again. Been my story all week. Um, got lots of pollen floating through the air. In fact, our whole valley looks like it's like smog or haze because there's so much pollen in the air. It's how it is up in the mountains in the spring when things pop, but it's worse for everybody here than it was, um, the last few years. So, except for Danielle, I don't know how she doesn't get it. But she's allergic to something else because she's she's got allergies going off a lot of the year, and for me, it's just kind of these times. But drop your channel link. That's the thumbnail title is of this live stream is connect and grow. That's my point of having these live streams is for you guys to connect to one another and grow your channels as well as help our channel out with watch hours, and we can get to know you guys. So, Heather Lynn over in Massachusetts says last week was nice and warm. Now it has been in the 40s this week. It might be 34 on Monday. That's nice, Heather. Yeah, this morning it was. I had Nightbot drop the weather report for Chino Valley, which is just north of us, and they were at 32 this morning. So it's been right on that edge of freezing, not freezing. Down here in the towns, we went camping up in the mountains on Friday. I missed Yogi Hollow Farms live because we were up camping, and it got real cold up there. It was about 1,000 feet up from here. So right, people are saying good morning to one another. I love it. Steven, I miss your boots and bounty. Typed in the weather command for Memphis, and Nightbot dropped the Memphis, Tennessee weather report. It's 43 there. Some wind, not much, 5 miles per hour. Humidity is at 75%. Those of you who incubate chicken eggs, quail eggs, turkey eggs, whatever, when your humidity is so high, is it hard for you to keep it down around 40 or 50? Because that's been our battle here, but it's been because it's been so dry. Um, Seems like every morning or every other morning when I wake up, it's in the high mid to high 30% range. Um, I can do that, Rebecca. Yeah, I can send you a group photo of our family. I'm gonna write some notes so that I don't forget. I have your email address, so I'll send that photo to your email. Yeah, we love those hats. It's gonna start getting a little bit warm to wear them though. So, all right, Glenn says handled all 80 Easter eggs last night. Had 7 quail quit. So here in another 9 days, we should have chicks. Nice. Yeah, you know what? I got a little bit anxious and I candled one of our eggs, and it was pink inside. I saw the air sac on top, so excited. Hope that all of them are that way, but I wasn't gonna candle every one of them. We got 50 eggs in there, so we'll do that when we go to lockdown at day 14. Zombie Prepper, good morning, brother. I'm glad that you're in here. Um, Julie says it's been unseasonably warm in the UK this winter. No snow to speak of. Usually get snow February and March. It's 19 degrees here. Nice. I take it that's 19 degrees Celsius. And if so, that's great. Hey, Matt, I was just talking about your Matt at Grafted Branch Homestead. I was talking about your snow that you guys got. Um, is that pretty unusual over there to get snow in March? I know for us, we could get snow even through the beginning of May, but it's usually just a light dusting and it's usually gone pretty quick. Is your snow still around or has it already melted? Last Friday it was all the way up to 72. I just looked again. Might be 32 on Monday. Okay, Heather, yeah. Seems like your weather in Massachusetts is somewhat similar to ours here in the mountains of Arizona. Whenever I see your weather or Nightbot dropping the weather report for your area, it seems like it might be similar to us here because we had. Sorry about rubbing my eyes, everybody, but it just feels like I have sand in there. It's horrible. My allergies are just horrific. Um, and so let's see. Uh, yeah, um, it's been warm here. I think yesterday it got up to 70 as well. I forget it. Every other day, it's kind of been warm or not so warm. So we've had like 50 degrees and then 69 degrees and then 49 degrees. So You just do a dry incubation then, Glenn. Yeah, that makes sense, okay. We just don't add water, just pull the plugs on top. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. And does it hang around 40 to 50%? I'm just curious as to what the humidity hygrometer reads. I gotta drink this coffee. I'm fully asleep still. Hey, Pure Pondering's in the house. Good morning, listening while getting ready to work. Yeah, I appreciate that so much. And I think that's Kate, right? I think that's Kate in Arizona. Thank you, Nick. I'm gonna put it up on my YouTube channel so everybody can see who. Yeah, that's awesome, Rebecca. I like to see everybody else's hats too. Okay. Matt says, "Yeah, barely that much snow. Sure was weird, but it happens." Yep. It could happen here too. Um, Nick, it's all good. You don't have to apologize. I'm fairly sure we all your pain or have recently. Thanks, Steven. It's good to know that I'm not alone, and that people understand. Um, but yeah, I'm not the best to look at on on the screen for hours on end as it is, and then I got Emperor Palpatine eyes, so yeah, it's even worse. Has anyone heard anything about what's supposed to go down on Friday? I haven't. I've been out of the loop on a whole bunch of stuff, and me and my friend Dub I mentioned earlier, who brought me that nasal spray. Um, you know, we get a lot of anxiety from watching too much of what's going on in the world, so I'll just leave it at that. I will keep our humidity around 40. Yeah, good, good, Glenn. I figured that might be the case. Um, Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you reminding everybody to give the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Thanks, Julie. I don't know if I agree with you, but I think Danielle does. So that's good. Um, all right, through the comments. So I'll tell you guys about this camping trip that we went on Friday. It was a short camping trip. We were. I worked on Friday, took off a little bit early, and then we headed up, like I said, 1,000 feet up in the pine forest here outside of town, the national forest. And there were it was me and my two boys, and then uh, two of my friends, and one of the sons of one of those friends. Um, Everybody except my sons hung up hammocks, and we did hammock camping. And I've hung my hammock quite a few times, and hammock during the day, but haven't uh, hung my hammock for overnight hang yet. So that was my first time hanging in my hammock overnight, and I'll tell you what, it is so much better on my back and my hips than sleeping on the ground. However, yeah, me too, Zombie Prepper. I love camping. It's great. Um, and sometimes I get a good night's sleep, and sometimes I really don't. To be honest, it's sometimes hard to get a good night's sleep, just depending on the conditions and sounds and other things. So, um, so I hung this hammock, and the boys were in a tent, and they, I guess that my oldest was warm, but my youngest, um, I think he was just too excited that there was a campfire and there is uh, that we were actually out camping. So anyway, he had a great time, but he was up and checking on the fire and all kinds of stuff. Because he was the first one up to rekindle the fire in the morning. But when uh, when uh, when I fell asleep, I kind of knew that I was going to be cold on my shoulders because where the hammock, I have a I have this down coat, but I also have a 20-degree down sleeping bag, and I had that in the hammock and tucked it around both my shoulders, and I could feel it getting compressed, especially on one side, by the hammock, and it was pretty cold when we went to bed. So, I knew by early morning I was gonna be cold for, for a few hours in the morning, and, so anyway, I tried to just be a rotisserie chicken there and keep my cold sides moving to the warm spot and, so on and so forth, and, I was up, uh, on and off. So, 6:30 rolled around, sun was up, acorn woodpeckers were being obnoxious and chasing each other around, um, and there were ravens croaking, and then I could hear the boys by the campfire, and I could hear my friend wake up and him get his breakfast going around the campfire, um, and I was warm enough, and I just dozed off, and I was probably out for another hour and a half or something like that, and then I woke up and realized that I had told Danielle that we would be doing, homestead stuff, my homestead chores and whatnot when, I got back that morning, and here it was 8 a.m. already. I never sleep until 8 a.m., but it was nice to get a few extra hours of sleep after kinda tossing and turning a lot throughout the night. So, it was a great trip, and we can't wait to do it again, but I realize now that I really need an undercoat for my hammock. So, um, the zombie Rustic's asking if you got that package from him. I don't know if you're still listening. I haven't seen you in the chat, uh, since you said you love camping, but hopefully you're still here. Yeah, there you are. But anyway, I figure there's some other stuff to talk about. Oh, I didn't make a video, but I built a new brooder that is kinda modeled after the, Dale's Quails medium brooder that they have. Does anybody have any Dale's Quails products? Let me know in a comment if if you do. Yeah, Rustic Zombie said he got it. So, Dale's Quails is a pretty cool, um, opportunity, really. He has, um, all the parts that you need to assemble, um, quail cages and brooders, and I don't know what else. Hey, good morning, Tina Ladybug. Um, so I'm not alone. Matt steals Dale's Quail's ideas too. So we actually ordered a medium brooder from Dale, and we expect it pretty soon, but we haven't gotten any shipping notification. And I think it's been over 3 weeks since we purchased it. So I'm kind of curious as to when it will show up because I think it should have been here already based on this estimated time, but we'll have to look back. Maybe not. Maybe time hasn't flown by as fast as we think. Um, but anyhow, I just looked up his dimensions for what it was, and so we made a brooder, not for quail, but for chickens that I can raise the floor eventually. It's not gonna be easy because the way I built it was just with whatever scraps that we had laying around. So I think, yeah, every side, all 4 sides are different. The top is really secure and nice, and it's got 2 doors that open up, and, they're, I don't know, 40 inches by, 20 inches, I guess? It's like a 40 by 40, inch brooder box, and then the Dale's Quails one is 12 inches tall so that the quail don't jump up and break their necks. Um, and then it's like 13 inches. The floor is 13 inches off the ground from what I gathered from his measurements. So, yeah, Matt, I'm definitely trying to steal his dimensions at least. it's not gonna be as high quality as his, as far as all of the materials go. Because again, I just slapped together stuff. We had some T11 siding that was left over from the chicken coop that I just been hanging on to for a project I knew would come someday, and then we had a bunch of these fence pickets from the little picket fence I made around, uh, the entry to the chicken coop, um, where we kinda go in and we have our hot wire strung on it to, kinda have an entryway, I guess, to, the chicken coop, and, and then the 4th side, um, so 2 of the sides are made with the T11 siding, and then the last side, like, I'm kinda out of materials. I could take some of our more expensive lumber that we've purchased to do some, not remodeling or anything, but just maintenance stuff. We have a staircase that's starting to fall apart, and I've kinda cobbled it back together again, but, um, we've got, quite a bit of lumber for that, and that lumber was expensive, and I need to finish that project and, get it all treated with some type of, stain or whatever, but, hey, good morning, Scott, glad you're here, um, and, anyhow, I could have used some more expensive lumber, but then we have some pallets on the side too, but, Danielle said, we have some of that vinyl laminate from just a sheet, it's a super cheap sheet, we actually got it for, I think, 50 cents a yard, 50 cents 50 cents a foot, I guess. I don't know what it is. But anyway, it was a roll at Home Depot, and, yeah, sure enough, we had enough to cover one of the sides, so I just stapled that on there, and it's working out great. So, we got our 6 baby chicks. I've been putting up videos, not every morning, but, a couple times a week, um, just to show kinda the beginning of our progression with them as they grow for each of those breeds. So I need to put up another one either today or tomorrow, and then I think that'll be it. Yeah, I need 2 more. Anyway, I'm taking these videos and then putting them up every so often, and, they're already on their 2nd week, so I've taken videos of them at 2 weeks old too, so they're getting all their feathers, but they're out in the garage in this new brooder I made, and, um, it's good. It's, surprisingly better than I thought for how I just, cobbled it together. Yeah, borrowed the idea, right, Matt? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just borrowed the dimensions. Hey, Jesse, you won a 100% free live stream with Nick in Arizona. So, uh, I'm, I do need to give away some of our coffee. So Thomas, uh, his channel's Quail with Thomas, and I don't think he has any videos up yet, but Thomas, down south of us in Arizona, he is, drinking our coffee now. So, Thomas, if you're on here, leave a comment and let us know how you like that coffee. Um, hey, we're glad you're here. Yeah, thanks for stopping in. Um, yeah, Scott, are you going live today? Are you procrastinating? I know you've got a lot going on with the syrup right now. Um, so it's fun to see you pop up on what was it, Monday, Tuesday? Um, days this week's been going by. Uh, yeah. Do you sweeten your coffee with syrup or you drinking black, Scott? Um, I almost put syrup in something the other day. Yeah, Jesse. Yep. Yeah, you won a great prize, live stream with Nick here. In fact, if you wanna come up, or Scott or Chuck, uh, or Matt at Grafted Branch, zombie prepper. Um, anybody want to come up? I might as well. I'm probably gonna need to go get my box of tissues. Sugar and cream, no syrup, huh? All right. Well, there's the StreamYard link for anybody who wants to come up on the panel. Cat's coffee. Ooh, I haven't had that. I don't know what that is, Jesse. I'm gonna go have to look at that video. I haven't seen it. Missed it. All right. So Sky will be live at 12:30. That that's the East Coast time. After we switched over to daylight savings, I'm all screwed up. To be honest, I'm on Pacific time, so it's only 6:44 a.m. over here. So I think all the rest of you are pretty much ahead of me, even Matt over there in our neighboring state of New Mexico. Um, all right, well, yeah, chat's jumping on me. Yeah, no problem, Chuck. I understand completely. Yep, it's uh, it's just fine. Uh, you gotta get dressed. Hey, no problem. I appreciate people being you know, respectably dressed and, decent. So, I appreciate that, Matt. Um, yeah, Eastern time, okay. Chickens don't mind what I look like. Yep. Oh, we got the mod father in the house. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, good morning, good morning,
How are
everybody.
you, sir?
Yep. Well, you're the first. You are the first to check out the new Mod Father. I got my hair cut yesterday,
You're looking sharp, my friend.
and I had to trim the beard. Mama said Santa Claus has got to go.
Yeah, looking good.
So
Hey, well, I appreciate you looking so good
I,
my
I,
live
I
stream.
said I got to look as good as Nick. If I can't look as good as Nick, then I'm not even going to try.
Well, I'll tell you what, my eyes are just, totally inflamed from these, allergies. I've just been rubbing my eyes so much, it's
Yeah, mine are kind of burning too, but it's because I don't have an Arizona hat like that. You know, if I had an
yeah,
Arizona hat, it would kind of help some of that
it yeah,
sunlight.
it's funny, I was on a live stream, I forget with who, but it was in the morning like this, and I had the light from my blinds shining right in my eyes like that too, so I know the feeling for sure.
Yeah, I might be too. The window might be shining in my face there.
Yep.
Hey, so what's been happening over there in Arizona? You still got cold weather. See, you got a jacket on. What's up with that?
Yeah, it was cold. I was telling everybody about our camping trip that we went on Friday, and I hung in my hammock overnight for the first time. And I was like a chicken on the rotisserie, trying to keep my warm spot moving all around my body because my shoulders got so cold throughout the night. But yeah, it's still freezing over here, and we still have the chance of snow until probably, the beginning of May. So,
Wow. Yeah, we're already in the 60s and 70s sometimes.
yep, yep.
So
Well, you know what? We get, days where it's, high 60s and low 70s still, no 80-degree temperatures, but it
no,
can get pretty hot, during the day, and then,
right.
it can be a 30-degree difference, so,
Hey,
yeah.
I want to say hello to my neighbor here, Tina Ladybug. Hello, Tina. How you doing? I hope she's out there fishing, or at
Yeah.
least fishing to start crappie fishing here. She's a fishing fool. I don't know if you've seen her videos, but y'all need to check her out.
Yep, yeah, I love her logo, with the fish in the state of Texas there. It's
Yeah.
great, it's a really good logo.
She's just
Uh
got so much patience. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, fishing is one of those things that it can be very relaxing if you just enjoy where you are and you're not too concerned with what's happening on the end of the line. I
Right.
found if I can if I can keep that in my head that hey, we're going out, just we're in a beautiful spot and we get to
Yeah.
hang out here all day, then I can enjoy the fishing. If I get too caught up in what's happening on the end of the line, sometimes it's frustrating.
Yep. Where's the nearest fishing hole or fishing area in your area? You got to go
Yeah,
all the
we
way
got
up in the mountains.
Yeah, we got 5 lakes in town, so 2 of
Wow.
them are, below our elevation here at the kind of low-lying spots with big rocks. It's a beautiful spot. They're
Well,
called
I've seen your Instagram pictures. You got some beautiful country there. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic, I must say. But yeah, we've got Willow and Watson Lake, and they're in the Granite Dells, so it kind of looks, I don't know, almost like Sedona or something like that with these big
Right.
granite, beautiful
It's
rocks in the.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I've seen the place. I've never seen the lake, I don't think, but I've seen the area and the mountains and the sunsets and
Yeah.
sunrises. And you post a lot of good Instagram pictures. So
Thanks, Jesse. Yeah, I need to do more of that. I have a few different Instagram accounts, and I don't post all of them to the Arizona Highland Homestead channel, and I should. But
yeah.
we've got a couple other, let's see, three other lakes up in the national forest. So they're surrounded by pine trees. So those are pretty beautiful too. Um,
You ought to have a fishing channel all your own with all them lakes.
I need to do that. That's for sure.
I know Tina's over there just slapping the phone saying, "What is wrong with you? You're not fishing those lakes."
That's what my 12-year-old son says too. He wants to get out there in our kayak and go fishing. So I need to get out there and go fishing. There's just so many things I love doing, and so I would love to say that we went fishing this weekend, but we haven't. And
Yeah,
I need to.
kind of hard to
Need,
monitor the chat here too a little bit.
yeah, well, I appreciate that. You are the mod father, so
Got to, you know. I feel naked not touching this keyboard here.
well, yeah, feel free to do that.
And
The
I
other
don't
thing
I
that's
don't want
been
to keep you from your chat. I just want to join in, say hello, you know, see what's going on.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Tina says fishing is my peaceful place. Yeah. Um, oh, but she does say I'm not fishing today, Jesse.
Well, I
Um,
mean, there's a time and a place for everything, right? And she's got to do laundry. She probably has to cook.
yep,
She has to do everything that you do.
yep, yep. Well, we got our quail eggs in the incubator, so that was really good. And
Any
I
of them
hope
hatch yet?
no, they're gonna hatch beginning of April, so
Oh, okay.
we still have a little ways to go. But the uh, the brooder, I built a brooder for our chickens that I could probably use for our quail as well, with a little bit of modification. So, hey, zombie prepper, we'll see you later. Yeah, thanks for coming in. I understand needing to go. And we got squirrels magnet fishing
Thanks,
in
Rob.
here. I like to try magnet fishing. I've always wanted to try that. See
Yeah,
what's
me
down
too.
there.
I watch videos and videos and videos, but I've never done it. You know, it takes a lot of upper body strength, and that's probably something I don't have.
Well, I'll tell you what I don't want to do. I don't want to get some of those unexploded ordinances that I've seen some of those magnet fishers come up with, and then they have to call the police, and they come out and
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind getting one of those. 'Cause at least you're saving somebody else from getting killed. You know, if you get it out of the water,
that
you
is
know,
true.
you
That
know,
is true.
somebody else could step on it or hook it with their fishing pole or something.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, that's true for sure. Um,
Hello,
yeah,
Chuck.
I go ahead, Jesse. What'd you
I'll
say?
just say hello, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck's in here. He said he couldn't come up this morning because he's got Charity and the kids over. But
Have you seen his grandson?
yeah,
He's a jewel, man. That little boy is something else, and he
yeah,
loves his
Down
pawpaw.
syndrome. Yeah, I saw him on the what was it? The World Down Syndrome Day. He posted him up there.
Yeah,
Um, hey, good morning, Jeremiah. Jeremiah's first name's easy to remember because of his channel name.
right. He
I
was a
like that.
bullfrog.
Yep,
Of
yep.
course, you have to be our age to know that song. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I heard it a lot growing up. That's for
yeah.
sure. Uh, all right, Prepper Book Club. Appreciate you being here. Have a good day. They're from Arizona too.
Oh, are
Hey,
they?
look, we got the Rambler in the house. Morning,
Scotty,
Scott.
what's going
What's going
on, big boy?
I'm doing some self promotion today. So
Whoa, look at that shirt. Nice.
just
Oh, you froze up on me for a second, Scott.
There, how about now?
Yep.
Good? Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah,
Coffee?
Scott, you need to come up with another shirt that says "Procrastinating with the Brums." Yep.
I can do that.
All right. See you, Darren. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. Darren sees me and he runs. Nice guy.
Hey, we
Oh.
might get Matt up here now. Matt's dressed. We might get him up here.
Uh-oh.
Hey, we got Jackie. Hey, Jackie. Thanks for joining. She says hi
It's
to
all,
Scott.
it's all about getting dressed. I had to go get dressed and get a coffee. So,
So I haven't had a coffee yet.
whoa.
Now I've been trying to edit a video. You know how long it takes to edit a video? It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And now I watch some people put a video out there that don't do no edits. You can tell they don't do new edits because all the bloopers are in there and it's like, oh my God. I hope mine don't come across like that. But
Yep. Editing takes time. That's for sure.
it takes a lot of time. Yeah. Especially when you have, like an hour and a half of footage and you want to dwindle it down to like 10 minutes. It's like, wow. You either have to do a lot of cutting or do some series, like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. It's just hard to do an hour and a half worth of footage in 10 minutes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
so Scott, how much syrup did you guys get yesterday?
I stayed there till about 10 o'clock last night, and we were down to about, I'd say the final takeoff of that batch will be between 3 and 4 gallons.
Wow.
It was very, very good. Sugar content was very high.
So you're putting a lot of sap through there because that's 40 to 1, right? And and you get, wow.
Yeah. Like it was, last week was just so disappointing.
Yeah.
That, we were all just kind of moping around, and because, we collected, right around the 260 gallons, and we got 15 liters out of it.
Mm.
So that's not even about 5 gallons, which, it's almost 3 gallons shy of where we should have been.
Right.
But we did have a lot of rain coming into the cold season.
Good morning, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hello. Morning, y'all.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, we had a whole lot of rain before freeze up. So we're wondering if the tree didn't have enough time to do the processing and, get the sugar content up. And that's the first that came up the tree was low sugar content. So, but it's there as of yesterday, I tell you. And then we'll probably collect and then do a great big boil on Sunday and have like a bunch of families together. And because this would have been the weekend that you guys would have been here, Jesse.
Right.
They're planning on live music and.
Well, I know I don't have to tell you this, but when you tap that tree, you want to tap it going up. You don't want to tap it going down.
You know what? Don't laugh. Even our own guys, I caught them 3 times as I was collecting. It was going the opposite way, and it was pooling in the spiral. And I'm like,
come on, guys.
God. And if I go and pick another hole, that hole is going to bleed all season. So you got to try to fix that hole.
Right.
And hope it doesn't fall out. But yeah, it's like, guys, but it was one of the guys that's kind of new to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I got all my, I'm very proud. It's not even, it's about 9 days, and there's all my grow stuff.
Nice.
Oh, check it out.
So Jesse, your zucchini you sent me is right there on your right hand side, or my left, your right. So it's coming up.
Well, if that's my zucchini, I know it's going to be good.
Well, it's actually Lisa's, but we'll call it yours.
Okay.
Matt, it looks like your dog wants to get in this show.
Yes, he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Scout's always in my face.
I've got 2 of them here underneath foot that I'm about to just let go.
So what are you up to this morning, Matt? You doing your chores over there at the Grafted Branch?
Doing chores, mixing some quail feed this morning.
Oh, nice.
You mix your own?
I mix it all up. Yeah, I'm trying to move towards a sustainable way of things I grow and whatnot. But for now, I just buy and mix my own mix.
Okay.
Try to get the calcium content up a little higher in protein. Quail need a little more than the other birds. So
yeah.
So can you tell us what components you're mixing?
Yeah, I use a game bird starter feed, and I use a layer feed, and then I mix in a lot of their crushed eggshells and some crushed mealworms I dry out.
Now, is that your own crushed eggs you use, or?
Yeah, they're their own shells. I put them in the oven about 220 degrees for an hour or two, and crush them real fine, and then just mix it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know my buddy puts it through. He does the same process and puts it in the blender, and it comes out just a fine.
I use a hand mortar and pestle, but
that's the way analog, I tell you.
Yeah. Now let me
go.
Let me ask you a question. So the eggshells, isn't it supposed to be a deterrent for bugs? I would have thought it was better in what I've read, if you leave it in little chunks, or so that because the bugs don't like the sharp edges or something.
Probably. I use diatomaceous earth. I'll put a little bit in their feed as well, and then around the cage, and that helps real well. Just some food grade diatomaceous,
but I'm talking about for garden kind of stuff, like your flowers, and not necessarily for planting. I'm talking about. I didn't know that you could put it in for planting. I know that you can do it for flowers and plants and so forth.
Right, leave them a little bit bigger. Okay.
Right. Yeah, and Lisa just spreads them on the top of the mulch, or the top of the dirt.
I will be trying that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that yet either, Jesse. So that's
I've
good
heard
information.
Eggshells in the garden, but I normally I did that series last year on diatomaceous earth, and I swear by that stuff.
Yeah.
It is expensive, but yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, keyword die, right?
Yeah. It works. It's good stuff. What are you showing us there, Matt?
Oh, the chicken door's opening. I was just pointing.
Oh, nice.
It hit that time, I guess.
Yeah, the automatic chicken door. So our chickens, their automatic chicken door right now, for whatever reason, the last couple nights they haven't been going in, or at least half of them haven't been going in, and they've been getting stuck outside. So I don't know what the deal is. If it's been getting lighter and they feel like they can stay out later, or what it is, but hasn't been especially warm. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Our girls.
My phone's being a little weird. I'm gonna have to leave, but I'll be in the chat in a few minutes.
Okay. Bye, Matt. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
So Nick, do your chickens automatically go at a certain time, automatically inside, or do you have to kind of rustle them in?
Most nights they go in on their own, and then we've got a photo sensor attached to the automatic chicken door, so it'll close on its own when it gets dark enough. But they've been staying out and roosting up on perches in the run instead of going into the coop at night. What were you about to say, Scott?
I think it has to do with temperature, the light. I know Rob wasn't feeling well, so he went home a little bit early, and he called back to the Sugar Shack last night. And he's like, "Can I get a hand? The girls are still in the barnyard," and that was it was probably a good 30 minutes after sunset. They're still running around the barnyard.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not like it's overly lit. You can see, you're not going to break your neck walking around the farm, but so yeah, we had to go, and I'd say there was probably 10 girls that were not back in the coop. But they know that it's getting to the time of year where they get to go back. So during the winter, they go in the barn so that whenever it's 40 below, they can still run around.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just inside the barn.
Yeah.
Rob's proven it. You give a chicken exercise and it will lay all year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I hear a lot of folks that their chickens don't lay over the winter. Rob gets 2.5 dozen year round.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's 40 below or 40 above.
And I heard also, I think I heard it on your channel, Nick, that the water has a lot to do with it. Having warm water as opposed to cold water.
Yep, the warm water definitely helps. Good morning, Spring Meadow. Yeah, we learned that from Barb at Ben's Over Acres. We told her that we had a heater in the coop and that they weren't laying and they were getting exercise. But in fact, we put them into our little mobile chicken tractor and have them go and graze and scratch throughout the yard. And then we put them back almost every day. But they weren't laying for, I think it was probably November through December, or a few of them were laying, but not all of them. And she said, are you heating your water? And I said, well, it hasn't really been quite freezing yet, so we haven't turned on the water heater yet, because the water's not freezing. And she said, turn that on, I bet they'll lay again. And sure enough, yeah, it only took about a week and they were laying again. So I'm definitely a believer in the water heater, but I take it in your area, Scott, that you probably have to have the water heater on a lot, right?
About a month and a half straight. So this year switched. We used to do a crock pot in the corner with it right. But in a couple of the videos I've shown, they've bought or they haven't bought, they've had all this. They went back to the plates.
Yeah.
It's just like a warming plate.
Right.
It will not ever start a fire because it doesn't get that warm.
Yeah.
But it does stay warm enough that the girls have fresh water. So, the biggest thing there is ensuring that they have fresh water whenever it's cold. If there's even a little skim of ice, they won't drink. Well, it's just like a human. A human can't operate correctly without water.
Right.
So, and the chicken's made up roughly the same. They know that they're going to have to shut down their body to conserve water. And that's what I get out of it anyways. But yeah, no, it's about a month and a half. We turn them on. I'm thinking right after Christmas this year.
Okay.
And they're still in the coops, but they're not plugged in.
And you use the same kind of warmers for the cows for the Highlands?
No. So what I'll do is, it was really hard to explain.
Yeah, I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's really hard to explain the watering system that we use for the cows, but I guess in essence it's the same thing. It's a great big warmer, and there's just enough room that they can get their snout in, because it's like a human using a straw, but a Highland puts its whole nose in that and then sucks in like you would on a straw, but they don't have a straw. And that's how they drink. So in a couple of my videos, I've shown the girls having a drink, and it's actually quite funny because you can sit there and they sit there and slurp it up. Yeah, they're you're having a bad day. There's nothing like going over to the farm and just laughing with being around the girls.
Now, is there a natural pond that you have there for the Highlands that they can go to during the summer and spring?
Yeah, it's about 40 feet deep, 40 feet wide. It's where it's situated. They could actually get to it in the winter, but obviously there's probably still a foot and a half of ice on it.
Yeah.
If not 2 feet. But all the pastures can get to it. And it's they dug it out about I don't know, not that many years ago. It just because it fills in with sludge, right? So
Yeah.
you got to dig it out every few years. And they had a buddy that has an excavator, and he came over and dredged it for them probably about 5 years ago, and it's still like it's good. It's spring water,
Oh,
so it's clean.
yeah.
And like the dogs bathe in it all summer.
Wow.
Like they'll be running around the pasture with us, and then all of a sudden you look around, the dogs aren't there, and then you look over, and they're over in the cow's drinking hole.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because I've seen you drive by the cows every time or all the time, and then you're wondering if that water's frozen over, or
nope.
the
So
buckets.
the pond's got
No, I'm talking about
3 feet.
the water feeders that you have for the Highlands.
Nope, not once do we. So it comes in, I think it's about 7 feet deep, and then comes direct, like on a 90, straight up into the middle or to the bottom of the. It's a great big yellow looking thing. I've pointed it out a few times, but now I'll wait till all the snow's gone.
Morning, Tuber Chat.
Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing, Kevin?
And but yeah, no, it's great. It 40 below. Now we were fortunate this year. Whenever it was 40
Appreciate
below,
you too, Matt.
There was enough snow built up around it that it never did freeze. So,
bye, Lynette.
Works as an insulator.
Yeah.
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 That's good. Hey, congratulations, by the way, on your new vehicle for your wife.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What happened, Scott?
I went to a doctor's appointment and came home with a brand new car for my wife.
I didn't know that they were giving those away at the doctor's.
Dang the luck.
They weren't giving them away. So we've been looking since 2019 because we had the great big old Dodge Grand Caravan, 2016. So it was still in reasonable shape. So like I said to her, she's like, well, maybe we'll go look. And I looked in Ottawa and there's nothing. Like one of the dealerships, they're booking into like September to get delivery of a vehicle. So I happened to be looking around, and about an hour from here, right close to where my appointment was, they had one. The color she wanted, every option she wanted. Actually, there was more options on it than she even wanted. Well, I let her I said, all right, we'll stop by. We'll have a look. We'll see what they're doing. Well, there's zero negotiations anymore. They know they have you. But what I didn't tell the guy I was negotiating with is he was $9,000 less than what they wanted in Ottawa for the exact same car.
Wow.
So I already knew I was going to save $9,000 there. So I was already excited as it was. And, I love negotiating for vehicles. I'll sit there. I've walked out of a dealership for 37 cents a month. They called me and told me to come back, and I got my way finally. But like Debbie she said, this is his time. She walked out. She won't even sit there because it just, How
many hours were you there when you walked out?
These guys, I'm going to do a video on them, just so that if anybody looks them up in this area, it'll show up on YouTube. Obviously you guys won't be coming up to purchase a vehicle, but
No.
I tell you what, it's the best car buying experience we've ever had.
Wow.
I wanted I was going to take no less than $15,000 for the van.
Oh.
And I know people are going to say, well, it's worth more than that. It was, but Debbie's signature is putting a great big dent in the back. She likes to back up by feel.
Oh no.
So whenever I had the big wash truck,
Hey, Glenda.
it was right behind her van She got in it one day and backed right into my great big truck.
Mm.
I'm like, you didn't see that? No. I'm like, we might want to consider not letting you drive. Anyways, that was probably 2011. But this was an accident. She was in a hurry. And but anyways, there's a great big bang out of the back. They're going to have to replace the back of it or the door. And they were okay with it. They came back and offered me 15 right away.
Hmm.
And I tried to get them to move on the vehicle, and they're like, nope, we will not move on the vehicle. He's like, I don't have to, because if you don't buy it, there'll be somebody here. He said, it's only sat in my lot 3 days.
Hmm.
I don't have to pay for it till day 30. So he had me. And Debbie heard that, came in, grabbed the pen, and signed the deal. I'm like, I wasn't done yet. But yeah, so he laughed at me and said, I got you on that one. And I said, actually, you're $9,000 less than Ottawa. I got you on that one. He's like, ah. But yeah, no, great guys. Great guys.
So when you walked away for 37 cents per month, how long had you been in negotiations that day?
About 40 minutes.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, but that's 40 minutes after you were sitting there looking at the vehicle, test driving the vehicle.
Hey. Get him, Trigger. But
that's my dog, sorry.
Somebody's walking on his street.
And we get cats and dogs and stuff that want to walk up to the front of the house, and my dog just watches everything that comes around, and he's the bully of the block.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's his property. He's allowed to be a
That's
bully.
right. He don't let nobody comes to the house without me knowing about it. Trust me.
Yep, that's good.
Even
Mark
my son,
Wildman, good morning.
even my son comes up to the house and he lets me know.
That's funny.
Scout does the same thing, Jesse.
But that's good. I like it because it's my internal alarm system here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And they have, if you notice, I don't know if your dog does, but my dog has a different bark for different people. Like the mailman has a different bark than when my dad comes. When my dad comes over, he's got this kind of a growl bark, and it's different. I don't know.
Howdy, Ohio Hunting Outdoors. Good morning.
Hey. How? Speaking of your dad, how's your mom?
She's good. She's a lot better. She's getting around real well. She was down for a couple of weeks, but she's back up and she's moving real good. She's feeling better. So,
good.
Thank God for that. She went through some hard times there, but she's doing better.
Yeah. Good.
Thanks for asking.
It just clicked in that, I hadn't asked you in a while. So
yeah, she's doing good.
Good. So what's the plans for this weekend, Nick?
This weekend, I can't tell you, Scott. We've got a lot going on. Danielle is planting seeds in our garden like a mad woman right now. So if I had to guess, I would say we are going to be doing gardening stuff nonstop until probably mid-May, because that's when we can stop worrying about the frost. So last year, Danielle had an amazing garden. It looked like we lived in Florida or something because everything was so green. But I had installed drip irrigation, and that helped a whole bunch in the garden because it's so dry here. But we had started planting, I think, in early April last year. And we'd done a bunch of row covers and things for the small starts. And that turned out real well. We actually had snow on top of the row covers at some point, and everything came up. So we'll see how that goes. It's kind of risky, but it really pays off if we can have it be successful. So,
but we probably won't know or see any of it because you never filmed Danielle working in the garden. She wouldn't let me.
No, you probably won't see Danielle. You may see her feet or her hands in a video every once in a while, and there's some of that in the past. But yeah, she's super camera shy, and that's just fine. But
Yeah.
you'll see her work, that's for sure. Her work is that garden, and she's taking care of the chickens pretty much every single day. She puts them in the tractor and moves them around the yard. So
Yeah, that's Lisa. She's got starts all over the house over here. She's got plants growing everywhere, and she's fixing to do. In fact, here we got so much gumbo that it's really hard to plant in the ground. So she's doing grow bags this year. She's got
okay,
like 36 grow bags going to be full of plants.
nice.
You know, 5 gallon, 7 gallon, 10 gallon. But it's just going to be a whole lot easier, and they'll be raised, so they're not on the ground.
Have you guys ever watched Hollis and Nancy?
Hollis and Nancy, no, can't say I have.
No, they're in Florida, and they have all these different videos about growing stuff, but they grow a lot of stuff in 5 gallon buckets. That's kind of one of their signatures, I guess. They put a lot of stuff in the ground too, but man, do they grow a lot of food, and it's pretty
Yeah,
fun watching them.
and that's what turned us on to the grow bag. We've been watching a lot of grow bag videos, and it's just amazing. And they're, you can move them around. You can, we get a lot of hurricanes and hurricane threats and rain and floods and stuff over here. So if I had plants on the ground, the first flood we get, they'd be gone.
Yeah.
So, but no, I like the idea. We can move them around. We can shelter them. We can, if there's too much sun on one, we can move it over to partial shade. That kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think
there's
that's
gonna be
why.
some advantages.
I think that's why Hollis and Nancy do it. It looks like their ground is like beach or something. It's sand. It looks
Sandy,
like
yeah.
sand in some spots. So I think that's what they were doing it for, was so they could get it up off the ground. And they actually made some platforms out of wood.
Right.
Kind of like a, what do you call it? Like a boardwalk kind of thing.
Right.
So they could get their plants up off the ground.
Right.
And it's interesting. I kind of wonder. I love knowing about how everybody chooses to do things differently, and like you're saying, you can move it out of the sun, or you can move it, if there's a big storm coming through or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Here in Arizona, I need to get my plants in the ground because they would dry out so fast in 5 gallon buckets, just from all the heat, and it's so dry. So any kind of moisture that the plants can find on their own, going deep into the soil, would be good. In fact, all of our potted plants that we have to remember to stay on it with the water, otherwise they'll die.
So what we've found through the grow bags is that obviously the bags are porous. So
Yeah.
when you water the plants, obviously they're going to lose some water. But you put the bags in a tray, and some people even use baby pools.
Yeah.
And any water that's dispensed or that comes out of the bag,
yeah,
or even rainwater, will stay in the tray, and then it'll naturally wick its own self up. So they always have water.
So that's kind of almost like that hydroponic cracky method that people are always talking about. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good way to go, Jesse.
Yeah. So that's the way we're going this year, and hopefully it works out. And I hear that Chuck's got the same kind of sand you're talking about, some kind of sandy soil. So he has to put like a lot of the, I guess, nutrients, biochar, or whatever he's got to put into the ground over there to get his plants to grow.
I'll switch him. He can come up here and have really good soil, and I'll go down and I'll deal with the beach.
Yeah. Well, we don't have beach. We have black gumbo, and that's like solid clay, and it's like, I'm not dealing with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When you said gumbo, I was getting hungry, Jesse.
Oh, no.
You
can have all you want, but it's not the same.
Gumbo that they were going to. I was trying to rack my brain, and I'm like, it's hurting.
No, this is black. It's like black clay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's very, very hard for plants. I mean, unless you work the soil years and years and years and years and get it just right. It's easier just to throw the potting soil or whatever you're going to use into a grow bag or into a 5 gallon bucket, like you said, and grow that way.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah, we've got lots of rock and clay here, and then we've got pockets of sand too, or decomposed granite. We've got all kinds of stuff here, but some of the clay spots. I don't know about you, Jesse, but some of the clay it'll stick to our shoes and our dog's feet, and they'll
Yep.
bring it in the house when it rains here, and it kind of almost puffs up like it looks just like regular soil, but then when it gets wet, it kind of puffs up like
Yep.
a cake mix or something.
Right.
And then it's like cake batter on the bottom of your shoes, and it just kind of keeps building and stacking up and up. Is that
Yep.
kind of how the gumbo is?
Exactly.
Okay.
See, our blue Lita clay that we have up here, and that's, I guess our clay is pretty close to the clay that they can make bowls and that out of.
Oh, really?
Like I've seen them take an actual cut out of the Lita clay, and they can sculpt it and that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, if it gets on the bottom of your boots, your boots are now 20 pounds heavier.
Is
Well,
it actually blue?
not only that, if you just right, you get your boots just right. It's like a vacuum. It's hard to get your foot off.
Yeah.
Is it actually blue in color, Scott?
Not really. I've never seen it blue, but they call it blue Lita clay.
Okay.
And then you go up closer to mom and dad, which are about an hour and 20 minutes away, and it's all sand. Because it used to be the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
And here would have been the shore. So yeah, it's quite neat.
So Steven's asking you, Jesse, if you can do raised beds.
Yes, we can do raised beds, and we were going to do raised beds. I mean, the wooden frames and all.
Mhm.
But once we started looking at the grow bag process, I said, "But this is just as easy. In fact, it's easier I think for us because you're just moving around bags.
Yeah.
And there are five. We ordered a dozen 5-gallon, a dozen 7-gallon, and a dozen 10-gallon. So the biggest we'll have is a 10-gallon bag.
Okay.
And it's not going to be full of clay. It'll be full of vermiculite and all the potting soil. So it's going to be a whole lot easier to move around.
Oh my God.
There's the boss.
It is a lot.
You're spoiling the poor little boy.
Oh, I do this every morning.
I can't say anything. If Debbie's off work, she brings me my coffee too.
Yeah. Yep. It's that. Give me that bag of Cat's coffee. I'm going to show Aylin, Nick over at AZ. This is that coffee I was telling you about right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, Cat's coffee.
Yeah, but it is amazing.
So we mix it half and half.
And I mix it half and half. I use half of this and half of regular coffee.
Okay.
And it has chocolate, cinnamon, and anise in it.
Oh
and
wow.
it is amazing.
Good morning there, Lisa.
The smell is amazing. You just can't. Like I said, it's in my video there if you guys want to check it out. But they do place orders online. So
I might have to try some of that.
Yeah, it's a really good video. Like he goes right inside and they explain it and show it, and yeah, it's a good video.
All right. Yeah, Danielle brings me coffee too when I'm sitting at my desk, but she's not going to come in right now. You're not going to see her in the background.
But what's the coffee that you drink there? Is it some kind of military?
Coffee?
The one that you were talking about earlier.
My coffee right now today it's Brazil. So we get our coffee as green beans and then we roast it ourselves at our house. And we always get like a single source. We don't have a blend. We've made blends before, but we've got Brazil right now, and then we have Honduras as well. But we'll buy it in 60-pound bags, so we don't have the capacity as far as storage space goes to store a bunch of 60-pound bags of green coffee. But it's sure nice with any kind of idea of supply chain shortages that we've got a whole bunch of green coffee on hand that we could roast anytime as long as we have electricity. So
I was watching a video yesterday or a couple of days ago that they freeze dry their coffee. They freeze dry it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it lasts forever. So I don't know if you get a freeze dryer or if you can get one, but they freeze dry, and if you get in 60-pound bags, that's a lot of beans.
Yeah. Well, the great thing is that the beans are dry, right? So
Yes,
they're
right.
dried green beans, and then we put them in the roaster about 300 grams at a time is what we roast, and then it comes out roasted coffee like you'd buy, at the store. But the green beans can actually they actually have a shelf life of 2 to 3 years. So that's the way we usually store it until we need it, is as the green beans, because once it's roasted, it's good for about 2 weeks to a month. And then after that, it starts losing a lot of its good flavor. So that's how we've been doing it for about 10 years now. We've been doing that. So
That's not a trade secret. How long do you roast it for? Because 300 grams, that's not even a pound.
yes, that's correct. So I've got to do a video on it, and
I'd
had
love to
somebody,
see that.
yeah, I had somebody ask about it.
Yeah.
But the roaster we have is called a Behmor 1600. It's Behmor, and
Okay.
they cost, well, when we bought it, it probably cost $350 or something like that. And it's really just a glorified toaster oven that has a rotisserie basket in it that holds the beans.
Okay.
And so there's two heating elements in the back, and they're oversized heating elements. It's not just like the small toaster oven heating elements. They're big. They're probably the size of a thumb or something like that. And two of them on the back, and then this big wire cage just keeps turning. And you can choose the different. There's a bunch of different settings. You can do smaller roasts, or you can do up to about 300 grams. It really depends on the variety. For us, we found that we actually hit this 1 pound setting that's on it, but we only roast 300 grams because for Brazil, if you roast 454 grams, which is a pound, at that 1 pound setting, you're going to get a super light roast that's barely roasted for that particular bean. So you have to kind of experiment and figure out, okay, this bean needs this long on this roast setting. And then there's a bunch of different roast settings as well, and combinations where you can, it's all automatic, but you have to figure it out. You have to go and try it with that particular variety, and see. So the different roast settings will choose, you can choose between how long the heating elements will be on high, and then they'll turn off, or they'll kind of pulsate on and off to get the right temperature for the right amount of time. And then after a certain amount of time, it goes into the cooling cycle. So you have to wait, and you actually listen for, there's a first crack and then a second crack. And the first crack is like, it's not even roasted yet. It just kind of cracks the bean, and you can audibly hear it. And then there's a second crack, and there's a whole lot of smoke between the first crack and the second crack, and it smells amazing. It's this burnt kind of coffee bean smell that you smell if you ever go to a coffee roaster. You'll smell that burnt coffee smell that from the roaster. But and it seems like, oh, it's going to start catching on fire here pretty soon. And then you hear that second crack, and that's when you want to hit the cooling cycle right away and cool it off. Otherwise, you get like Starbucks over roasted, charred coffee from the barbecue. That's what you get after letting it go too long after the second roast. So anyway, there's a whole lot of kind of science and experimentation with it. But that's why we buy in a big 60-pound bag of the coffee, because you get it from a different year. Even if it's the same variety from the same farm, it could be a totally different bean, and you got to go through that process all over again to try to figure out when that second crack's going to happen and all that. So
that sounds interesting. Sounds like something you ought to do a video with.
Yeah, I need to, but sometimes we're just kind of utilitarian in our coffee roasting. We're doing other stuff while it's roasting, and then we've got a timer on our watch or whatever set to go over and check it and make sure everything's going well. And
it's
all that. So
it would be a chore to videotape the whole process. But the problem I have with this is, which bag do I want to pick? Do I want to pick this bag, or do I want to pick that bag? That's my chore.
Yeah, well, see, and that's kind of the problem. I love having a variety. I'd love to have 2 cups, and try this Brazil and the Honduras at the same time. Oh, this one tastes a little bit like this, and this one tastes a little bit like that. But the problem is that we can only buy a couple varieties at a time. I mean, we have 120 pounds of green coffee sitting in our small house, and that's taking up space. So I'd love to have a bunch of varieties all at once, but just not practical for us to keep that much coffee around.
What is 60 pounds the minimum you can buy, or can you buy smaller quantities?
We've purchased smaller quantities from a bunch of different places before. It just gets really pricey when you buy small quantities, because the shipping cost is really what the problem is.
Right.
And we can find some locally here, but it's not as good as some of the stuff that we can find online. We just find a greater variety online, and so I forget what it's called. The place that we buy it from is called Green. I don't know what it's called. Green. I can see the logo in my mind, but I can't remember what it's called. But it's the best value that we found for the best quality of coffee so far.
Now, when you make your coffee, do you make it through a drip coffee maker, or do you use one of them French presses, or do you use something else, or a Keurig?
Yeah, that's a great question. We don't have a Keurig, but we have almost every other type of coffee making device you could imagine. Everything from.
Then I'll send you some of this cat's coffee so you can try it out.
All right,
I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, well, thank you. We do a lot of espresso here too, so that's kind of problematic in itself. You want a little bit darker roast for espresso. So if we're specifically roasting it for the espresso maker, then it's different than our coffee maker. But we have an automatic coffee maker. It's a different one. It's pretty expensive. It holds the right temperature for the water, and it slowly drips it through, and it's a thermal carafe, and I don't know, all this stuff that makes it worth it for us to home roast our own coffee, because some of the, we've had Mr. Coffee, the cheapest one you can get from the supermarket, and it does an okay job at brewing coffee. You're not going to get a horrible experience, but when you've experienced all the different ways, like you said, the French press, we've got an AeroPress, which I highly recommend the AeroPress coffee maker. That thing it's like a syringe. It's like if you had a mix between a French press and a syringe. It's like this big syringe that you plunge down, and they have all different types of filters for it too, but I prefer the original paper filter that they have for it, and it comes out super clean, super. I don't know what you would say.
Refined.
You know how French press? There's like when you French press it, there's like a it's almost like you got sediment in the water. It's thick and muddy. It has that same flavor that the French press has, but none of that none of the mouth feel of the thick, sediment.
No, you don't have any sediment feel. It's filtered.
Yeah, it's super filtered. It's super clean, and yet it still has that flavor. So the AeroPress is one of my favorites, and then we do pour over stuff too, and things like that. But a lot of the time we're just doing the automatic drip. Like this morning, I woke up late. I'm tired from my allergies and everything, and I just automatic push the button and let it go, and it does a pretty good job.
I know my French press. If I put
morning coastal water,
I'll cut out a round thing the same size as the screen for the French press. It takes a lot of that sediment out.
Oh, you got a great hack there, Scott.
Very, very cheap fix.
Yeah.
Like what does it cost you to get a pack of filters? Next to nothing.
And so how do you fix that onto the French press screen?
You take the screen off. Put the paper on, put the screen back on, connect it, and
nice. So it takes a little bit of work disassembling the screen, and
my screen pops right out. So it really takes me seconds.
Yeah, it's like taking it apart to wash it. You have to.
I'm going to try that this afternoon, Scott. I'm going to try that this afternoon. That sounds great.
Oh,
basically what the AeroPress is, but the AeroPress it's plastic and it's literally a syringe with a rubber plunger, and then at the bottom they have the filter, and you just plunge it down, and it only makes an 8-ounce cup at a time. So sometimes I'll make 2 of them back to back. But
Yeah,
that French press idea with the paper filter, that's genius, my friend.
it's a pretty easy fix.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna try that.
On the size of your filters, like if you have anybody that any big coffee shops, see if they'll give you some filters.
Yeah, the commercial filter.
You can get those filters for the 99-cent store. They're cheap.
Yeah.
So you can get anywhere from 3 to, I think the most I've ever got is like 8 out of a commercial big filter.
Yeah.
And you're sitting watching TV, you get your dimensions. I showed a buddy of mine, and he actually made a dowel for his that's wood, just like a 1x2 and or a 1x3, whatever it is, and he cut it out, sand it out, and then he just cuts around the paper, and he has a stack of papers ready to go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I know it's more than just myself and that use that little idea. So you can
Canadian coffee bushcraft.
$19.99 to my PayPal, and go ahead and use my idea.
I was gonna say, Scott, you should just trace those out. Ask your buddy to borrow that jig and just trace them out and put them online, sell them off. That's a great idea.
Yeah, but it's just hey, whenever we're stuck up here in our igloo in the middle of a blizzard, what do? You got to think.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I'm gonna try some of that Canadian French press coffee this afternoon.
Yep.
And I've never had a French press coffee. I've always had just regular drip coffee or maybe cappuccino or something, but no French press.
So the French press, if you were to use the French press with your cat's coffee, you'd get all the flavors.
Yeah.
All the flavors come out. You just leave it because it sits there in all the liquid, and it really brews. It doesn't go through.
Right.
And the coffee that amazing. Toby's on loose.
He's going crazy. Must be somebody walking by the house.
But Tim sent me up to Arizona, whatever it is, and I tell you that's probably some of the best coffee I've ever had.
I'm about to try that someday.
Yeah.
And I see the French presses all over the place. I mean, everybody sells them.
Oh, I think I got mine at either Amazon or Costco, and it was like right around $20.
Now, is a French press a French press? I mean, are they all the same, made the same? They do the same
Get
way?
the stainless steel. Don't get plastic.
Oh, stainless steel?
You're going to pay probably $5 more, but you're not fooling around with plastic that's going to break. And get a few extra filters. Now, I don't use mine as much as what I used to, but now that Tim sent me this coffee, I really enjoy it. So and it makes 2 cups. So
yeah, and I'm spoiled. I've been using the Keurig ever since they came out. I love it. I'm Keurig.
Debbie's hooked on Keurig, but I've also got the little thing that I can put my own.
Yeah, that's what I use. I put my own. Yeah, I use the reusable. Pod or whatever you want to call it.
Actually, I just broke mine last week, so I'll be. We're going to Costco there, so I'll probably buy. They sell it like in 3s. Hey, Chuck.
Chuck's trying to get in trouble here, Jesse. He says, "Tell Lisa to quit barking."
Oh.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Yeah, Chuck. Yeah, he'll get himself in trouble.
Thank God.
Julie says your dog's setting off her pug and Shih Tzu off barking.
Sorry about that, Julie.
Yeah, it's so funny when our dogs bark and I hear another dog barking on the video.
Yeah, and their head comes up and their ears start going. What the heck is that? I hear.
and both my dogs, Molly's underneath my feet and the little one's laying over by the door.
Yeah.
But they not bothering them one iota.
Yeah.
But I've got my grow lights on, so it throws a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
Oh.
The lab's laying right. She's laying right underneath the grow lights.
Figures those are for her, right?
Yeah. Daddy, oh, that's nice.
Now, do you guys use grow lights?
Yeah, we've got some in our garage, but I got to figure out the heater situation next winter. I was just telling Danielle they had over at Tractor Supply, they were getting rid of some of those garage heaters. They weren't kerosene, but I forget what they were. They're those tubes, so a long tube and
Propane.
Propane heater, yeah. And I told her, we got to figure out some system, get some kind of thermostat or something set up so that the garage doesn't get down below 40, because on those mornings where it gets below 15 or so, which aren't very often, but we had a few, it just kind of killed off every plant we had in there, even if they had heat mats going or whatever. So I got to figure out a way to heat the garage through January. January is when we're the coldest here in the mountains. So
Propane's your cheapest and best to heat your garage. Is it insulated?
It is insulated, yeah.
Yeah, if you can pick up one of those, I know what you mean. They make them smaller for the garages, but
Yep.
Big commercial like car garages here to fix cars, they all use that system of the great big run, and I guess it fires the heat down the thing.
Yeah, it blows it down the tube. Yeah. So, I was thinking if we could ceiling mount that thing or whatever and just have a thermostat that, turns it on and off every so often, it will be just enough through those few months in the winter where we can actually grow a bunch with the grow lights. But right now we've got a whole bunch underneath the grow lights and it's staying, I don't know, 45 to 50 in the garage. So it's pretty good temperature for getting all of our starts going.
The reason I asked is, Eddie over at Poor Boys Homestead. I don't know if you've ever seen Poor Boys. He's got some hacks like you wouldn't believe.
Oh.
If you're looking to buy grow lights, don't buy the grow lights. He's got a hack for that. Also, the thermostat controller. He says most people go and buy a thermostat controller for each one of the plants or that they're putting the grow lights under. He says you just need one. You get a multi-plug and you plug them all into the same one, and that one thermostat controls all of them. You just put the probe in the dirt, and it's like he just knows how to save money. He is really good. Eddie Poor Boys Homestead.
He's crafty.
Yeah, he's very crafty. You got to watch his videos.
Nice. Yeah. No, I love learning stuff like that, how to be more efficient with your setup. That sounds great. I'm going to have to go over there and check that out from Eddie and make sure
he shows how to make it. He showed how to make a mini greenhouse. Like when I say mini, it's about the size of a riding lawnmower. Wow. Greenhouse. And he showed how he puts all his plants in there, and he gets the same amount of growth out of that than he would if he had a Superdome greenhouse. And in fact, he said sometimes I'll put this one in the big one just because it gets really cold where he's at, and it helps his starts tremendously. But it is amazing. And he never leaves his greenhouse out. He always folds it up, packs it down, and because it lasts longer that way. Because if you leave it out, the sun's going to deteriorate your greenhouse if you have the plastic cover type.
Sure.
Well, that's all this is, guys. It's just small plastic shelves.
But if you had that if you left that outside, like on your patio, or if you left it in your barn or whatever, over time the weather would deteriorate that plastic. And if you wash it and fold it every season or after you finish your growing, then it'll last another 10 years.
Oh, absolutely.
As opposed to leaving it out. And a lot of people leave them out because they think it's a greenhouse. It ought to be able to absorb the sun or do it. But the sun is actually what kills it.
The UV is killing it. Absolutely.
Correct.
Mine will never see outside. I'm strictly using it for seeds.
But there's people that that use it in their patio or out like
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
barbecue and stuff. They don't want them inside. They leave them outside. They're thinking that they have to have the sun. Well, they do if you don't have grow lights. But
Yeah.
Yeah, here in Arizona, anything that stays outside just gets destroyed by the sun.
Yeah.
Of course, we're up at 5,500 feet too, so we're a little bit closer to the sun, I suppose. But yeah, I was going to ask you, Jesse. We're actually looking for some type of greenhouse setup, but probably for next year. So we'll see. I'll have to go look at Eddie's videos on that and try to make a decision about that. We're thinking about cattle panels and all kinds of stuff that we could do to just like in place in the garden, put the stuff in the ground and have, instead of these small row covers, to have kind of a bigger portion of the garden covered with plastic, and then shade cloth in the summer is what we're planning to do with those. But I was going to ask you about those grow bags. How long are those? How long do you plan for those to last? Each one of them being in the sun.
So I don't know yet. But every video that I've seen and watched, they said if once the grow season's over, you pile your dirt wherever you're going to pile your dirt, and then you wash your bags out, and it lasts 3, 4, 5 seasons, depending on how long you leave them outside. Now, obviously, if they're already through growing, you already used the plants out of there, and you leave the dirt in them and leave them outside through rain and whatever, then obviously they're going to deteriorate that much faster. But the key is once you've done with them, rinse them out, clean them, sweep them out, do whatever you got to do, and fold them up and put them away, and they'll last for 3 or 4 or 5 seasons.
Nice, yeah.
So
I was wondering about that.
And the best part about it is because we've done the buckets, and buckets take a lot of space.
Yeah,
these fold down flat. So once you fold them down flat, you can put them all in one little box.
Hey, good morning, Hand Me Down Outdoors.
Well, and it's a great idea. You empty it out, take it to the laundromat, wash them.
Yeah, I got a pressure washer. I can use my pressure washer.
Well, they get most of it out, but if you want to, if you really want to do it, I wouldn't even use it in my washing machine. Just take it over to the laundromat.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they can fold down and stay out of the sun and the elements most of the year while you're not using them is probably the greatest feature of those grow bags, because our 5-gallon buckets here, if we leave them out of the shed, they're toast within even 6 months. They're going to be brittle and falling apart.
Right. So that sun just does a number on just about anything, especially in Arizona. Y'all got 10 months of sun, just basically.
We've got sun all the time. It's brutal. I mean, people paint here. They paint their houses every single year because it's that bad. Where south side of houses just get ruined by the sun, and the west side, once it's heated up. But we're trying to figure out better ways to be good stewards of those things that we've invested in, and we're managing and trying to figure out how do we keep these things lasting longer and don't just kind of squander our stuff away. So like putting the 5-gallon buckets in the shed after we're done with them is a simple thing that we can do. But often, we're using them day in and day out for different things, and so they stay outside, and then they're trash, and that's horrible. They should last more than just one season. So we're trying to think about all the different things that we do, and that we can keep things going for a little bit longer.
Well, those buckets you use are multi-purpose, right? You can use them for plants, you can use them for hauling water, grain, whatever you're going to use it for. The grow bags are purposeful. You're going to use them just for growing. And once you're done, you put them away. You're going to wait till next spring and pull them back out. But at least you have them. The buckets, even here, like you said, if you leave them outside, they do get brittle. They get they get tore up. They break real easy. In fact, you could have a plant and it would split if they froze. Not that it freezes here a lot, but if it had water in that bucket and it froze, it's going to split that bucket.
Right.
So
good morning, Van City Prepper. I think we have a few more people that came in. Pure Pondering's listening from the office. pure ponderings in Arizona too. Solar power, wind power, easy once you get them set up. Yeah. We thought about getting solar panels set up on like a purposefully making a like a livestock sun shelter with solar panels on top. I thought that might be a good way to go. And apparently people use goats to graze around the solar farms here in Arizona to keep the weeds from, overtaking the solar farms. There's a lot of Arizona's power is solar based, which makes sense, right? We've got tons of sun, but yeah, we're trying to figure out how to be better stewards of those things that just get destroyed in the sun.
I think if I lived in Arizona, I wouldn't paint my house. I would have mirrors all the way around my house that send the sun back to itself.
I don't know if I'd want to be your neighbor, Jesse, but it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, totally blind your neighbor. But
yeah. Hey, but at least I didn't have to worry about painting.
Yeah. I'd aim a mirror right back at your window.
But at least if you're on the mountain like you are, we'd be able to find your house. Oh, there's a shining light up there.
That's true. The big disco ball on the hill. Yeah.
Yeah, the planes would probably not like you.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Probably true. That's probably true. Well, all those solar fields, it's probably the same thing, right? Just a bunch of glass shining the sun right back up to the sky.
Oh, I imagine they probably have navigational maps that tell them which way not to go, so you don't get hit by those rays.
Maybe so. Yeah. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours here. Got about 5 minutes till it's 8 o'clock on Pacific. And what are you guys going to do after this? Jesse, are you going to be editing your video?
Yeah, I'm still editing that video. And then I got to go check on my RV and see if it needs any service to it. I got to start the batteries or start the vehicle, check the batteries.
Yeah, I meant to ask, where are you headed next? What's your next
trip?
Well,
we were going to head to Canada, but when these gas prices started going through the roof, we said, nah, I'm not going to spend my 401 just on gas and give it back to the government.
Yep.
So, but no, we do want to go to Canada. Now, our next trip, I don't know. We're thinking about going to that Shoot Dang Fest. I don't know. We've been asked by so many people to attend just so we can go meet some people. But we'll probably just go for the day, not necessarily stay there and overnight and party and stuff. We'd probably just go for the day, just to meet people. And then they got one up in Kentucky we'd like to go to. So we'd like to go try and meet Boots and Bounty up there in the Kentucky, Tennessee area. I hear some good folks up there.
Yeah, when is that one? June?
It's in September, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we wouldn't mind going up there. Maybe we can meet Chuck and Glenda if they go up, because it's right up above their house, right? They're in Mississippi, so they just got to shoot up about 4 or 5 hours, I think.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't mind doing that one as well.
Brandon's doing another meetup in Sulphur. I don't know if it's going to be later before summer or in the fall, but he's not going to do it during summer again because it's just too hot.
Well, Steven says they'll be there at Shoot Dang.
Yeah, so if they'll be at Shoot Dang, we'd probably meet them there as well. But I still wouldn't mind going to the Kentucky one.
Yeah, Chuck says about 8.5 hours.
He drove both.
From here to Kentucky, I think I looked at it. I think it was a 12-hour drive for me.
And Steven's saying Kentucky is September 10th. Chuck will be there too.
Yeah, Kentucky, September 10th. Yeah, it was in September. Yeah.
And y'all are making me tempted to drive all the way across the country and go see y'all.
Come on.
That'd be pretty nice.
I just have to shoot straight down 81 and I'm there.
There you go, Scott. And I'm sure you got your pokey, so you're good to go. You're fixing to go on a cruise, right? Next year?
Next May.
Yeah, so if you had to prepare for that, you can go down to not Shoot Dang, but down to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Meet you halfway.
Yeah, there you go.
We might need to do a fundraiser for the gas prices, but
boy, I know. I'm hoping the gas prices come down. Otherwise, we may be taking my little smart car.
Do you have a smart car?
No, I'm saying. I'm just.
I was gonna say.
No,
did you see that in the front of a smart car?
No, I'm going to have to give me an electric bike.
Yeah, there you go. You know what? That's one of the things that a lot of people are getting over here. This is a big cycling town where we're located, and it's amazing how many people are getting into these e-bikes. And I'll tell you what, it's an efficient way to get around.
Well, if you're in the RV community, that's one of the only ways to get around. So a lot of people buy those electric bikes, and that's how they get around the camps and the KOAs and the lakes. And
I mean,
it's
they
just
can
real
get like
easy.
40, 50 miles on one charge, you know.
Correct.
And then you still have pedal power too if you need it.
Correct.
So
If
hey,
you
we
need
got
it,
Ann Dale in here. She made it. Hey, Ann Dale.
Hey,
Glad
Miss
you're
Ann.
here.
And I got to send you my address so you can send me my prize when I win this next week.
That's right. Yeah, she's got a giveaway. She's got a giveaway going on.
And I'm ready to do the salsa with her too.
I love you, Jesse.
Anyways, Nick, I will get out.
Yep.
You can go to work.
Yeah, well, you got to go to work. What's the time? Is it 7 o'clock there?
It's about 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Time to get to work.
We'll let you go to work, and I appreciate you letting us in.
Oh man, what a pleasure to have both of you on here for so long. We had Matt from Grafted Branch on for just a moment, and that was nice to have him too. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. It's so great following your channels and seeing you guys in all the chats of everybody else's, and then having you on here is just a treat. So I appreciate that. And Dale says, hey, if you do the salsa with me, I'll be sure you win, Jesse.
All right.
That's great.
I'll remember.
All right, everybody. Well, we're going to cut out of here and get our day going. But thanks for joining us all. And we'll see you guys next Thursday, if not sooner.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Bye for now.